From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, August the 25th, 2020. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo left Israel this morning after a day of meetings yesterday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and others. Departing Ben Gurion Airport, Pompeo noted on the first official direct flight from Israel to Sudan. Pompeo met in Khartoum today with Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok, part of a 5-day trip in the Middle East following the historic Abraham Accord, the normalization of ties between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, which Israeli and American leaders are hoping will lead towards other Arab countries declaring diplomatic ties with Israel as well. Pompeo tweeted today that he was pleased to meet with the Sudanese Prime Minister to underscore U.S. support for Sudan's democratic transition and discuss Sudan's commitment to deepening the Sudan-Israel relationship. Hamdok noted today that because his was a transitional government, he said it does not have a mandate to decide on normalization with Israel, but said this matter will be decided upon after the duties of the transitional government are completed, which is expected to be in 2022. Meanwhile, a report today that the U.S. is planning a regional peace summit with a number of Arab states to take place sometime in the next few weeks. The Times of Israel cited the report from Israel Hayom, which claims this is the purpose of Pompeo's tour. Pompeo, by the way, next heads to Bahrain and then to the UAE to further discuss the historic deal with Israel. Defense Minister Benny Gantz's office shared today that he spoke over the phone with his UAE counterpart, Mohammed Ahmad al-Bawardi, for the first time ever. Gantz's office said of the talk with al-Bawardi, "We share important security interests. Cooperation will strengthen the stability of the region." And the Emirates official news agency, WAM, said the two defense chiefs shared their hope that a treaty between them would strengthen the opportunities for peace and stability in the region. Netanyahu met today with British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab in Jerusalem on a number of issues, including the threat from Iran, telling the UK official that he expects Britain to change its policy towards Iran, tweeting that it should join the American sanctions in order to prevent Iran from arming itself with lethal weapons or to advance towards a nuclear weapon. The UK was among members of the UN Security Council who this past Thursday rejected a call from the US to reimpose sanctions on Iran. Raab also met with Israel's Foreign Minister Gabi Ashkenazi and with Gantz, as well as with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah. Dozens of incendiary balloons once again were launched into southern Israel today, sparking at least 36 fires in the area. In response, Israeli aircraft and tanks struck Hamas terror targets in Gaza early this morning. On Friday, the leaders of the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations, Arthur Stark, William Daroff, and Malcolm Hoenlein, shared their outrage by the international indifference to the ongoing terrorism and attacks against Israel by Hamas in Gaza, noting the rocket attacks last week and the ongoing arson balloons. The conference leaders wrote, "No sovereign nation would let these repeated assaults go unanswered. But when Israel defends itself and its people, it is cast as the aggressor. There should not be a different standard for the Jewish state than there is for every other country in the world. Hamas," they said, "must be held accountable for its atrocities by the international community, and Israel's right to defend itself must be respected by all." Police in Virginia are looking into a reported bomb threat targeting a synagogue there. The threatening message was said to have been left on the voicemail at Congregation Ner Shalom in Woodbridge this past Friday. A police canine unit responded to the area and searched the building, and no threat was found. An investigation is ongoing. Well, a Holocaust survivor received her high school diploma last week, something she had wished for decades. The Washington Post reports that 88-year-old Miriam Schreiber, born in Poland, who now lives in Hartford, Connecticut, had shared her harrowing story of survival during the Holocaust with representatives of the senior class of the New England Jewish Academy in Hartford at the beginning of this year, also sharing that she deeply regretted never having a formal education because of the war. Well, the entire class decided that they would remedy that and present Schreiber with an honorary diploma at their graduation, which because of the coronavirus pandemic became a virtual one. So instead, a socially distanced ceremony was held at the school where Schreiber in a cap and gown accepted her honor. She said, "Somehow the right people came together at the right time. As a result, now I am offered an honorary degree to recognize that my life, learning, and experiences are worthy of that honor." Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, August the 25th. At 7 o'clock, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs explains how the Jewish people are the people of the book. At 7:30, 3 new important books in the field of Jewish law are introduced by scholars with response from the authors. That's an event from the Jewish Review of Books and the Jewish Law Association. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Shai Held on L'chaim. At 10, it's a history of New York Jewry. And coming up next, the ILTV's Insider. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, August the 25th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.